This is a continuation of a rulemaking hearing commenced on April 25th, 2014, before the Tennessee Fish and Wildlife Commission to consider amending Rule 1660-1-14, which deals with rules and regulations for refuge, wildlife management areas, and public hunting areas. My name is Jeff Griggs, and I will conduct this hearing. The order of proceedings will be just like the last one. Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency staff will present information on the proposed rule. Commission members will be permitted to comment and ask questions. Members of the audience will be permitted to comment and ask questions. Staff members and members of the audience wishing to speak should identify themselves before speaking. I reserve the right to limit comments and discussions, especially in cases of repetition. Mr. Kirk, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And let me start by thanking the Commission. I do appreciate rolling the conclusion of this hearing to this month so that we had the opportunity to talk some more about this rule and to gather some more information for y'all. Let me start. There was a question last month, I believe Commissioner Cannon asked about the administrative history of this rule and when other WMAs were added to this rule. And we've gone back and talked to folks that were around at the time, even some retired folks that remembered it, to come up with some answers here. The original rule was adopted in '74, and there was actually no section that dealt with prohibiting alcohol. In '82, the largest number of WMAs were added, and they were added for a variety of reasons, either and remember too, in '82, multi-use of our WMAs was just beginning. Some areas were getting a little bit of multi-use, some weren't, most weren't. In some instances, in the afternoons and most of our WMAs too had quota hunts then. So you basically had to have a quota hunt permit to be on the area. But in the afternoon, some of these areas, hunters would ride the roads and drink a little bit. Catoosa was known for its large parties of drinkers at some of the access areas and some of the isolated areas where folks would go and drink. Laurel Hill and Cheatham, it was basically, again, in the afternoon, hunters riding the roads. Prentice Cooper, had stories related to me how Prentice Cooper was actually at one point referred on the radio as the place to go party. And to be honest, Pea Ridge, I never got a significant answer of why Pea Ridge was added when it was added. In '96, Buffalo Springs was added to discourage drinking at the waterfall area. And Eastern State was added to discourage drinking at the isolated entrance there. In 2001, the title was changed to add public hunting areas to the tail end of the title, and Buffalo Springs was removed. And then in 2004, Percy Priest Unit 1 was added to discourage the use of isolated areas as drinking spots. What we in the month that's passed since I was here last month, we have talked about this at length again. We have removed WMAs that we were being preemptive on. This rule only contains WMAs in which we have a problem, which we feel we have a significant problem, and that is Denali WMA. And let me say too, when we have questions, Tommy Edwards, who was here last month, is here again. I have asked that Mark Ventura and Rusty Thompson, the Murray County Wildlife Officers who deal with these areas, to be here as well. The first area I want to highlight is Blue Springs Canoe Access Area. And you can see the little, where the arrow is pointing, that's the parking area. This is an official access area. And the rule that deals with those access areas is there at the bottom of the screen. And so on that access area, you can't use toxicants or other behavior modifying substances. So on the access area, you can't drink. Hunters and fishermen, while they're hunting, can't drink. Horseback riders can't possess alcohol. But what's happening is they know they can't come right here, and so they get off the area. They just get off the access area, and there are no rules prohibiting them drinking. Now, when they get intoxicated, we can do something about it. When they litter, we can do something about it. There's at times we've made arrests for marijuana use, and we can do something about that. But and let me back up to one of the questions last month dealt with a family, a man and his wife, and a couple of children canoeing or floating the river, and they get off on a shoal of the bank for a picnic lunch, and the man opens up a beer to have a beer at lunch. That is not the reason we're proposing this rule. The reason we're proposing the rule is the large crowds that are gathering at some of these points on our WMA and socially drinking. There's also, and I'll go through a couple of areas here, but it was related to me that there's an island on the river that started developing last year as the name of it now is Party Island. That's part of the WMA. So when an officer walks up on a situation, he looks at the totality of the situation and the circumstances, and he makes decisions based on that. If you're looking at the letter of the law, if that man gets off on the bank or shoal and opens up a beer, by this rule, the letter of the law, that would be a violation. And I can't tell you with every circumstance whether a citation will be written or not in that circumstance. However, that is not the reason we're proposing this rule. And if you have any questions, as I said, Rusty and Mark and Tommy are here. This other area we discussed quite a bit last month. This is the Fred White Road area, and right in here at this intersection, they park their cars down this road and down this road and walk across our dove field and use this area right here. And it's large crowds. That's our issue. Yeah. Right now, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to try to answer them or get Rusty and Tommy and Mark.
Yeah, let's do that. And I'll encourage the commission, as he's going through his presentation, if you've got a question, ask it right then. Let's don't wait till the end. Let's go that way. Does anybody at this point have a question? Commissioner Canoe.
Again, I apologize. I'm not talking for the sake of talking, but just thank you. What you've presented this morning brings a heck of a lot of clarity to why we've had this limitation on other WMAs. We didn't have that last month. I appreciate the fact that we're addressing issues that are existing today. And I believe, I speak for all the commission, these officers have our support, period. We want them to have, we want to have their back in doing their job. Before it seemed a little far-reaching, and just in my opinion, it was far-reaching. You all have pulled that in, and while I know last month it was not the intent for the dad who opens a beer, who pulls off on an island to get a citation, my personal concern was there was that perception in the public. You all have done a yeoman's job at bringing clarity to this, and just a word of appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone from the audience? All right, continue.
The next two or three parts of this rule are basically housekeeping. Since we now have a sandhill crane season, we're adding cranes to this section that deals with driving and rallying, waterfowl, and now cranes. This next section is truly housekeeping. It's been, I guess, 3 or 4 years ago now that we adopted the term wild hogs and removed boar and wild hogs from big game. And this simply does it. Catches this rule up to current status of wild hogs. This rule, previously, the owner's contact information and TWRA number, date, and all that was not required when somebody was camping on our area. And now we are asking that information be visible on, outside the tent on the camper, so that we can know when these people are coming and going on our WMAs. Part C there, at one time, it was not permitted to anchor or moor along the Chuck Swan and Cove Creek WMAs, their shoreline. We have now set a time frame from the third Thursday of May through the second Tuesday of September, which would allow that. The last section deals with horses. And again, we have pulled back and are not overreaching and have identified areas that either through some legal aspect or that we've included them now, or through what we believe we have a problem, included some WMAs in limiting horseback riding. Bridgestone Firestone, and this section prohibits horseback and pack animals at all times. Bridgestone Firestone, when we received the property, we entered into a conservation agreement that prohibited this. Foothills WMA in Region 4, there's a deed restriction, and Oak Ridge WMA in Region 3, DOE policy, Department of Energy policy, prevents it. Section 5, horses and pack animals prohibited during big game seasons on Laurel Hill, Denali, and Cheatham wildlife management areas. Back in the spring of 2012, we started receiving a lot of complaints from turkey hunters complaining about horseback riding on Laurel Hill during turkey season. To better define that situation on Laurel Hill and Denali, in the late summer, early fall of 2012, we sent out a mail survey. Now, Dr. Fly was here yesterday talking about how he scientifically did surveys. I'm not Dr. Fly, and we got an opinion of randomly selected hunters, and this is that information, okay? We used our GIS, and because we do have addresses in our GIS system from hunters that when they buy licenses, we picked representative samples of all the different license types that would be needed to hunt on Laurel Hill. And using the GIS, we said, okay, pull all those within a 25-mile radius of Laurel Hill. And then we pooled all those numbers and randomly selected 600 to send this mail survey to. We sent out 600, we got 98 back that were completed. That's about 16%. With a mail survey, my understanding, when you get 20%, you're very happy. So I'm happy with 16%. Of those 98, 69 of them hunted Laurel Hill. The others did not hunt the area. Even though they lived close, they didn't hunt Laurel Hill. Out of those 69, 26 or 37% of those hunters had their experience affected by other user activities on that WMA. And so how did we get that? In the survey, we listed other activities. We even listed hunting. And these are numbers. So these are real numbers. You could list multiples. So if ATVs and hunters caused you a problem, you could list both of them. Okay, so you weren't just limited to one. The number one conflict was other hunters. Laurel Hill is a popular area, but we talked to our turkey hunters and came up with a solution of closing the spur roads off the main roads. That was the biggest complaint. So we have addressed as best we can that hunting as possible conflict. The other conflict was with horses. We went on a little bit farther, and of those hunters that were that had their activities or their experiences changed due to others' activities, how did that affect them? What did they do then? And again, these are numbers and the percentages are there, but some of them do not hunt Laurel Hill any longer. Some don't hunt Laurel Hill as often. Others have changed where they hunt on Laurel Hill, and some only hunt Laurel Hill on weekdays now. So we think we've identified an issue. We have dealt the best we can with conflict with other hunters, and the second leading conflict was with horses. We did the same thing on Denali because we get complaints from Denali. We sent out again, we pulled addresses from around Denali WMA, 600 of them, and sent them out. We got 99 back, again about 16.5%. 51 of that 99 hunted Denali WMA, and 25 of that 51 had their experience affected by someone else using the WMA. And you can see here, hunters by far was the number one conflict. On Denali, we've talked about this at length. Not sure what Denali is a little less than 13,000 acres. It's in sections, kinda. It's not sure what we can do. There's a lot of people from East Tennessee come to Denali every year. So we're still thinking about that. The other issue, the second leading issue was again horses. The third issue being hikers. There is a hiking trail on, I believe it's Cheeks Bend State Natural Area that is managed, that hiking trail is a Department of Environment and Conservation trail. Of those, how has the activities changed the hunter's behavior? Again, a portion of them don't hunt Denali any longer. Some don't hunt it as often. It's the same thing as Laurel Hill. Some only hunt weekdays now. So these conflicts are changing our hunters' behavior, and we're trying to address what we can address, basically. The third WMA that we've included in this is Cheatham. We have not done any kind of conflict survey on Cheatham. What we're basically going on here is the information from the county officer and the WMA manager. But I do want to put this up here. This is, we were asking that the prohibition on horses be during big game season on these three WMAs. And here we've got total number of big game hunt days versus what would be available for horseback riding. Cheatham and Denali are both statewide, so they have more. But there is still more horse riding days available than big game days. And I do believe, yep, that's it. If y'all have any questions, I'll be.
All right, anyone on the commission? No questions or comments? Okay, anyone from staff? Anyone from the audience? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to pass. I have a motion and a second. All right.
No, you're not.
I apologize.
No, it's just not quite as easy as we'd like it to be. This rule was presented, as the rule was presented last month, that version was filed with the Secretary of State's office. And so in order to pass it with the current form that you would like it and the changes suggested this month by the agency, someone will have to make an amendment, someone on the commission will have to make an amendment to get all that stuff out that we took out from the way it was filed. And sounds complicated, I know, but it has to be done.
We make the amendment, just stating.
As stated.
It's not complicated.
Today. Or do we have to go?
No, Mr. Chairman,
All right.
Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Chairman, do we still have the original proclamation before us as a body, or do we need to remove the original? Or do we need to have the motion properly before us? Is it still before the commission?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
Mr. Chairman, then, I would propose the amendment that would be inclusive of the language that we have discussed for this rule and make that recommendation.
Probably what we first need to do is have Commissioner Cannon to withdraw his motion and my second withdraw it. If we're gonna properly do, okay, second's been properly withdrawn, okay?
Make the motion that we amend this rule with the language as discussed and as provided in our packets.
Is that good enough?
Yes.
Okay,
I
all right, I
think
have a
so.
motion to have a second.
Second.
Is there any discussion from the commission or the audience? Thank you, Ms. Cheryl. We had talked earlier, I was afraid this would happen, and I apologize. It's pretty complicated. It's probably the most complicated rule that I've seen since I've been here in the 5 years. A lot of parts on it. All right, any discussion? So, correct. What we are doing is we will vote on adopting the amendment, and then we will turn around and vote on it as amended. Okay? All right, so Barbara, if you would, call the roll.
Jim Bledsoe.
Aye.
Harold Cannon.
Aye.
Bill Cox.
Aye.
Jeff Griggs.
Aye.
Connie King.
Aye.
Jeff McMillan. Tom Rice.
Aye.
Jim Ripley. James Stroud. Trey Teague.
Aye.
David Watson.
Aye.
Jamie Woodson. Chad Baker.
Aye.
So this is the amendment to the rule. Okay, it passed.
Okay, all right, that passes. Now, I'll entertain a motion to pass Rule 1660-01-14 as amended. I have a motion, to have a second. Any discussion? Any discussion from the audience? If not, call the roll.
Jim Bledsoe. Harold Cannon. Bill Cox.
Aye.
Jeff Griggs.
Aye.
Connie King.
Aye.
Jeff McMillan. Tom Rice.
Aye.
Jim Ripley. James Stroud. Trey Teague.
Aye.
David Watson.
Aye.
Jamie Woodson. Chad Baker.
Aye.
Okay, the rule passes.
Okay, Rule 1660-01-14, amendment to rules and regulations for refuge, wildlife management areas, and public hunting areas as amended has passed. Thank you, Mr. Kirk.
Thank you. And if I could add one thing, I meant to say, we will put signage up
Okay.
that will let people know.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, I will turn the meeting over to Chairman of our Wildlife Management Committee, Ms. Jamie Woodson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to ask Chief Radijak to join us for the 2014 hunting and trapping season setting proclamations.